revealed in the season 6 trailer,
Elsa
many people
Bloodstone.
are asking, who exactly is Elsa Bloodstone? What is that behind her, and what role is she going to be? Well, in today's video, we aim to answer some of those questions as we dive into the Bloodstone family's comic origins to explain who they are, where their powers come from, and what role they could play as in the world of Marvel Rivals. Before we dive in, I want to establish
Rivals is a great game, by the way.
front. Elsa Bloodstone's history is complicated. And when I say complicated, I mean there have been a lot of contradictions and retcons since she was first introduced.
But hasn't every
Over
character
the
been like
years,
that
her
though?
origins and the Bloodstone family have been rewritten across different timelines, and a lot of those changes bleed straight into the main 616 continuity without much explanation. Things like her hair changing from blonde to orange, her backstory shifting from never knowing about monster hunting to being trained by her father at a young age.
Okay, so basically this character is Trevor Belmont from Castlevania. That's what I'm hearing so far. That's basically what the whole thing is. Monster hunters, hair changing, family training you, bro. That sounds a lot like Castlevania. Could be wrong though. Could be wrong.
Or even her father himself going from a noble hero to a much harsher, almost abusive father figure. And believe it or not,
That is not Castlevania.
there's more.
That
As
is not
controversial or
Castlevania.
messy as some of these changes are, they do shape the current version of Elsa Bloodstone. So while I won't be diving down
Went from
each
Castle
and
to
every
Devil
rabbit
May
hole,
Cry.
I will be pulling from those events to tell the Bloodstone story in a way that best reflects the most consistent modern version of the family. And with that being said, let's get started.
Imagine being able to build anything.
It's another ad.
Just by thinking about it.
Holy
Meet
ad,
Base
man.
44.
Get rid of
Elsa
that.
is the daughter of Ulysses Bloodstone, a legendary monster hunter whose backstory could honestly be its own video. Though the story of Ulysses and the Blood Gem is important in understanding who Elsa is today. Over 10,000 years ago, during the Hyborian Age, the man who would become known as Ulysses Bloodstone lived as a hunter and provider for his tribe in what is now
Okay.
Scandinavia. As the tribe's master hunter and main provider, he was respected, capable, and responsible for keeping his people alive in a dangerous prehistoric world. While out on an expedition, he noticed a nearby falling
Prehistoric? But isn't Elsa a modern day character? Wait a minute. What's going on?
meteorite that he decided to investigate, where he discovered a massive red gemstone buried beneath the earth. This stone, later known as the Blood Gem, was a weapon created by evil, chaotic beings from another continuum, designed to help them invade and reshape other realities into copies of their own. Encased within the stone
There's
was
levels
an
to this.
entity called the Hellfire Helix, which required the Blood Gem as a vessel to exist within Earth's reality. The hunter was approached by an agent of the Blood Gem named, now bear with me here, because names are hard,
Wait a minute.
Yuluxul.
What is that name, bro? I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. That's like impossible, man.
Who offered him power, knowledge, and eternal life. With his being's help, the Blood Gem
We'll just call
infused
bro
the hunter
Cthulhu.
with energy, granting him superhuman strength and longevity. Believing he had been chosen and blessed by the gods, the hunter returned to his tribe and led them to the Blood Gem so they could share in the same gift. However, the ritual was merely a trick from this extra-dimensional being. As the ritual was conducted, the Blood Gem drained the life from the tribe, using their life force to fuel its power. Realizing what was happening and that he had been tricked, the hunter attacked the stone with his bare hands, causing the gem to explode with energy, shattering it into countless fragments that scattered across the entire planet. One of those fragments embedded itself into his chest, permanently bonding with him. Each of the Blood Gem's fragments had access to magical energy wavelengths that provide different powers to the wielder. In Ulysses' case,
Immortality,
he gained
right?
virtual immortality, superhuman strength,
Okay,
and other
now
mystical
this is
abilities.
making sense.
The
Okay.
fragment made him immortal and vastly more powerful, but it also filled him with an obsessive need for revenge. Ulysses spent centuries hunting
That's the
monsters, extra-dimensional beings, and anyone connected to the creature that destroyed his tribe. Over time, he became wealthy, feared, and completely detached from anything resembling a normal life, including how you're supposed to raise children. Elsa was born in Boston but raised in England, and from the moment she could walk, Ulysses treated her less like a daughter and more like a weapon in training. He forced her to fight monsters as a child, punished her for showing hesitation, and believed fear and pain were the only ways to remove weakness.
As a
When
baby,
Elsa's
it's
mother
crazy.
tried to protect her, Ulysses had her removed from Elsa's life entirely by committing her to a mental hospital by saying the abuse that he had committed against Elsa was instead at fault of the mother. So when people say Elsa had a rough childhood, that's putting it lightly. After his death, Elsa inherited his estate, his weapons, and eventually his Bloodstone, a fragment of the same gem that had kept him alive for a millennia. The Bloodstone, as you can probably tell, is an important piece of Elsa's family history and her character. The Bloodstone amplifies intent. It can grant superhuman strength, durability, regeneration, resistance to possession, and even resurrection in some cases.
Oh,
But
that's
the stronger
crazy.
the wielder's sense of revenge or willpower, the stronger the Bloodstone responds. Ulysses wielded it through rage, while Elsa, over time, learned to wield it through control. After her father's death, Elsa chose to continue monster hunting, but on her own terms. She made a name for herself through brutal efficiency and zero patience for authority, which eventually led her to join Next Wave, where she fought corporate-backed super threats, mindless monsters, and experimental horrors with guns, explosives, and whatever else happened to be within arm's reach. During her time in Monster Metropolis, she worked alongside characters like Morbius and Werewolf by Night, protecting monsters instead of just killing them. This story arc we aren't going to cover in detail, but it's important because she sees firsthand that not every monster is evil, and that the line between hero and monster isn't always
Stay
as
right.
clear as her father taught her. During the Civil War era, Elsa registered with the US government as part of the Initiative, which was the enforcement arm of the Superhuman Registration Act. While she continued hunting monsters, her time under government oversight only reinforced how uncomfortable she was taking orders and how little she trusted systems that tried to control people through fear. Fast forward, Elsa would eventually return to Bloodstone Manor, where she discovered her long-lost brother Cullen Bloodstone, who she believed had been away at a boarding school. In all actuality, Cullen had been abandoned by their father in another realm and had become possessed by an interdimensional parasite known
Bro, what?
as the Glartrox, a being that feeds on rage and violence, which is something we will dive into later in this video. Their reunion ended in a brutal fight that
Hold on, let me
destroyed the
check
manor itself. Elsa managed to subdue Cullen and gave him a Bloodstone ring,
Bro,
designed to
I
suppress the
also-
Glartrox influence,
Let me
and then
pause
placed
this,
him
man.
at Braddock Academy in hopes
Joshi, I hope she's a support too, bro. I hope she's a support. I need another support to play, man. I need another support. We are running low on supports and vanguards, and there's not much versatility, so I hope we do get that. That would be great.
he could learn control, which is basically like the British version of Xavier's school for gifted mutants. Elsa's path eventually crossed with Deadpool when Wade and Elektra broke into the Bloodstone Manor to steal her Bloodstone choker. What started as a robbery turned into one of Elsa's strangest reoccurring partnerships. Over the years, she has crossed paths with Wolverine, inherited her father's place in an ancient group known as the Covenant, and even survived massive events like Battleworld, where reality itself was rewritten. Though Deadpool and Elsa's relationship becomes especially important during the Monster Island storyline, where Deadpool accidentally becomes Monster King. You know, like the literal king of monsters. And Elsa's Bloodstone
Accidentally.
becomes infected by a bone beast, which causes her to slowly start dying. Elsa initially wants nothing to do with Deadpool's new title, but when things inevitably spiral out of control, she steps in to help Wade protect both monsters and civilians alike. This arc is huge for Elsa's character. She saves Deadpool's life, she trusts him with her Bloodstone when she's dying, and ultimately fights through an interdimensional nightmare to stop an interdimensional
Bro, Deadpool
monster
does not need any
invasion.
more amps, bro.
Deadpool fought the Bone Beast Queen while Elsa took the
Wait.
children through
Team up? Future team up? Future team up. You guys saw that, right? That's a team up waiting to happen in Marvel
the
Rivals.
portal back home, and once they were all safe, he blew himself up. Elsa would come back to find his detached head next to her infection-free Bloodstone, destroying the Queen once and for all, and taking his head back home to look after him as he regenerates. Sometime after the events of Monster Island, Elsa reunites with Cullen once again when a meteor crashes into Bloodstone Manor. The meteor shattered into pieces, revealing a third sibling, Lyra, who had apparently been cast into space by their father centuries ago. Despite
I'm seeing a theme here.
initial distrust, Elsa and Cullen eventually accept her into the Bloodstone family legacy. Most recently, Elsa's story intertwines with the Black Knight and the Ebony Blade. Elsa sought a new Bloodstone that could resurrect her father, hoping he'd reveal the location of their family's inheritance. However, after learning that someone was using a Bloodstone to cast dark magic, she began to investigate it, which led her to encounter the Black Knight, who was also on the trail to identify the culprit. Elsa fuses her Bloodstone with the Black Knight's Ebony Blade to hunt down the individual behind the dark magic. In the end, they end up defeating the culprit, and Elsa chooses not to resurrect her father, rejecting the past once and for all and walking away with a clear sense of who she wants to be. With the understanding of who Elsa Bloodstone is, let's talk about what exactly she brings to the table in regards to powers, abilities, and weaponry, as this could help us garner an idea of what role she might be filling within Marvel Rivals. Unlike her father, Elsa Bloodstone was not empowered later in life, as the Bloodstone's influence was already in her blood at birth. Elsa inherited part of the Blood Gem's power genetically from her father, which means her abilities aren't just tied to an artifact, they're actually a part of who she is. That's why she's immune.
Okay, so that even reinforces the fact that they could have a Deadpool team up where she gives him the Bloodstone, right? And he just does what we saw in the comics. Like, it could be that simple. That just reinforces the team up.
To things like vampirism, and why, even without the stone, she was never truly human in the normal sense. With the Bloodstone fully in play, her physical abilities are pushed far beyond superhuman. Elsa possesses immense strength, enough to tear a Jeep apart with her bare hand. Her body is resistant to damage makes her almost invulnerable to most forms of physical harm. She's been hit by speeding vehicles, thrown through windows, and walked away without injury. That durability is also paired with enhanced stamina and a healing factor that allows her to recover from injuries at an accelerated rate. With superhuman agility,
please do not give us another healing DPS. Please don't do it.
She is also able to outmaneuver opponents with ease, even in close quarters combat, as she was once able to land on the tips of 2 katanas mid-battle. As her connection to the
support section is open,
gains access to its more destructive capabilities. The gem can discharge raw energy, and while she struggled to control it at first, she eventually learned to control it. Those energy blasts are powerful enough to send massive monsters flying, turning Elsa into like a walking anti-kaiju weapon when she needs to be. But power alone isn't what makes Elsa.
What is this character, bro? They could do so much with this character. So apparently, what we know so far is that the Bloodstone is genetic now, and it's separate. So she already has the powers, and I guess that's just an accessory. I don't know. And she can do a lot with it. That's crazy.
Dangerous. She's a highly trained martial artist, capable of taking down some of Marvel's most lethal fighters. At one point, she even defeated both Deadpool and Elektra at
Jeff
the same
in Bloodstone,
time, and not by outlasting them, but by overwhelming
terrorist combo.
Elsa fights with precision, confidence, and zero hesitation. She's equally deadly with weapons. Elsa is proficient with almost anything she can get her hands on, from swords to firearms to improvised tools. She's turned
no, we're not giving Jeff the Bloodstone, bro. Why are we doing that, man? We're not doing that, bro.
Expert accuracy. Uzis, shotguns,
Give Jeff the
handguns are all
Bloodstone.
standard for her, often carried in a guitar case like it's just another accessory. Beyond brute force and firepower, Elsa also
What an horrible idea. Why would we give Jeff the Bloodstone, bro? No, bro. No, he's already a terrorist, man. Let's not do that. Bro. We're not giving Jeff the Bloodstone.
Through her father's legacy, she's used forbidden tomes like the Darkhold and the Scrolls of Scython, along with powerful magical artifacts and even teleportation devices. But before we start theory crafting what all this means for her role in Marvel Rivals, the Season 6 trailer also revealed that Elsa will likely be accompanied by her brother Cullen, as we can see his monster
Oh, he's the monster in the background. The kaiju.
Cullen Bloodstone was the youngest member of the Bloodstone family and is the younger brother to Elsa. On his 10th birthday, his father took him to the Black Realm of Klimtor, a harsh and otherworldly realm filled with monsters, to teach him the ways of
No.
monster hunting.
No.
After teaching him some hunting and combat skills, his father left Colin to spend the night alone in Klimtor with intentions to
Yummy.
return in the morning. But unfortunately, Ulysses would die during that time,
Okay.
leaving Colin trapped in Klimtor, where he
The lore.
eventually would become
The lore.
possessed by an extra-dimensional parasite known as a Glartrox, which is a ravenous monster that bonds with the souls of their hosts, feeding on fear and anger, becoming stronger as they consume more negative emotions.
Is that X-23?
Colin spent nearly 2.5 years trapped in Klimtor, though he could only recall the first 6 months. During this time, Elsa had believed that Colin was at a boarding school, which is why she never searched for him. It wasn't until Elsa returned to Bloodstone Manor one night that she came across a possessed Colin who quickly transformed into a rampaging monster. Using the blood gem, she was able to subdue him, but the threat remained. So to protect him and control the monster within, Elsa enrolled Colin into Braddock Academy and gave him a special ring set with a blood gem designed to suppress his transformation. At Braddock, Colin struggled with isolation.
This actually really is like Castlevania. Like Castlevania, Devil May Cry, just a mix, bro. Really is like that. That's what I'm looking at.
Trying to distance himself from others.
It's
while
really similar
concealing
to
both his brilliance and the darkness within him.
It's like a hybrid.
And though he found friendship and kinship with a few
Bruh,
classmates,
why you hating
his
on the
time
brother,
in
man?
Braddock would soon become more than his sister had bargained for. Alongside his classmates, he was captured by the villain Arcade and brought to Murder World, a deadly labyrinth designed to push young heroes to their limits. Colin fought to
What a
protect
friendly
his
name.
friends, but the Glartrox inside him made controlling his powers a constant struggle. In a desperate moment to save those he cared about, he removed his blood gem ring and transformed into his monstrous self, using the creature's raw strength to battle X-23 and other threats. Eventually, he was subdued and returned to his normal form, but the whole ordeal left lasting scars, both physical and emotional. After surviving Murder World, Colin left Braddock Academy and set out on his own, hunting down information about Arcade. His journey eventually led him to reconnect with his long-lost sister Lyra, who actually helped him gain some measure of control over the Glartrox. Much like his sister,
That's
Colin
pretty
was
cool.
born with some of the blood gem's power. This gives him superhuman strength, agility, reflexes, durability, stamina, and heightened senses. Enough to rival most trained heroes, and certainly enough to survive his encounters with monsters and other deadly threats. The key to controlling the Glartrox, however, is the blood gem ring that Elsa gave him. The ring suppresses the Glartrox's influence, keeping the parasite from fully taking over. Though Colin eventually learned to control the Glartrox with his own willpower, allowing him to suppress it or even partially transform at will. He can
Okay.
manifest aspects of the monster such as tentacles
Can't wait
while
to get
remaining in
snatched
his
by that.
human
It's
form,
crazy.
or he can fully transform into the powerful rampaging creature when necessary. On top
Bro.
of his inherited powers, Colin
Bro, imagine you're a support in the back line and all you see is the Glartrox coming after you, bro. Like, really? No, bro. No, bro.
Colin's father trained him extensively in combat and weaponry. He's a skilled marksman and proficient with a variety of weapons, able to fight with precision whether using firearms or melee tools. Now that we have a better understanding of who exactly the Bloodstones are and what powers, abilities, and weapons they possess, we can start to really dive into what their potential role in Marvel Rivals might be. At the time of this
Okay.
video, we don't really have much to go on as Season 6 doesn't even launch until January of 2026, and Elsa isn't expected to join the roster till February of 2026. But there are a few unique theories out there that I think might hold some credibility. Personally, I believe that Elsa's most likely role will be a Vanguard, though she could also be argued for
Vanguard?
the duelist role. I feel
Really?
like we've already established that she's more than just a normal human, and is even more than superhuman, since she basically has supernatural
Why not
durability and
strategist?
strength that one would kind of expect from a Vanguard role. I personally feel like strategist might be a bit of a stretch, as I just don't really see that playing into her established power set, but I could be wrong. I think it could be interesting to see a highly mobile Vanguard blending her agility and martial arts
Bro.
into a brawler slash poke hybrid playstyle. She could
Hold on, bro.
excel.
Let me pause this. Bro, we already have highly mobile Vanguards. Have we not seen Rogue? Have we not? Have we not seen Penny? Bro, We do not need more highly mobile vanguards. I'm telling you, bro. Have we not seen Thor? Bro, we don't. Have we not seen? Well, Venom's a get in, get out type of character, bro. But we don't need that, bro. We don't need that, bro. Please, bro. We don't need. Yeah, bro. What Deadeye said, bro. We don't need that, bro. Please. We already have that. That'd be
close
horrible.
combat with her martial arts, while also using firearms, energy projection, or her unique weapons for mid to long range attacks, which is a playstyle we haven't quite seen
Actually,
on
hold
the
on.
Vanguard.
Let me pause again. I want another Vanguard, but this is not the way to go for a Vanguard. Please give us a shield, bro, or something. Not this, man.
Roster yet. Though I also think it's
Let's not inspire Vanguards to go to the back line while their team suffers, bro. Come on.
important to note where we see Cullen in his monster form behind Elsa in the trailer. Some people are theorizing that Cullen might function similar to a cloak and dagger situation, or an ultimate ability summon, or even a normal ability that brings Cullen into the fight temporarily.
Ultimate
I've
would be
done quite
cool.
a bit of research for this video, but I know there are some diehard Elsa Bloodstone fans out there. So whether you're a fan of this character or learning about her for the first time, let me know in the comments below what you think her role or abilities could be. So
Okay, that is Who is Elsa Bloodstone in Marvel Rivals Lore Explained. I think that's a good video, man.